Alright, so I am in an elevator inside an office building. I just got two free desks, actually, a credenza and a desk. So they actually have a loading bay, which made things slightly easier. Really, it kind of didn't because it wasn't elevated. So we still had to muscle it into the truck. My plan here is I'm going to create a suite desk. I want it to be a little more of a project, and I want to do it for as cheaply as possible. So we already got an entire desk for free. Bam! All right, thank you. All right, the desk is stored on the side of the house, as well as the other one. We have a ton of wood between all of the drawers. Here's what the top looks like. I think it's pretty good looking. I don't know anything about woodworking. All right, walking into my room. So this is my current workspace. So I've got my chair, and then I have my desk. So as you can see, it is pretty much fully taken care of, fully filled in the width. And then, you know, there's not much space left over, so I've got my computer, my keyboard, my mouse, and then just my two monitors already pretty much take up the whole space. I also have my like paperwork area, just some things that I'm kind of working on while I'm on the computer. And then usually, honestly, I eat at my desk, and so eat and drink. So I'll usually have some of that kind of stuff there. And then just some things on the side. I have this nice little wooden thing that's just, it keeps my stuff, you know, like pocket screwdrivers, things for work, safety glasses, sunglasses, like I have my knives there, and then some paperwork for whatever reason again, and then my laptop chills underneath. So I'm totally open to moving that shelf and totally getting rid of this or relocating it. The reason I'm doing this, one of two reasons. A, to get more space, obviously, because, I mean, when I'm sitting at my computer, this stacks up pretty good, and, like, as you can see when I'm sitting there, you know, like, if I get some stuff, it's gonna be in front of things on my screen, which sucks. Recently, I've seen a bunch of posts in which like, I follow a bunch of PC modder places with custom desk setup, which is also part of the inspiration, but I've seen a couple posts where recently glass desks have shattered. All your stuff hits the ground. That's a really bad day. I don't want that to happen. Glass just gets really gross, and you can see every little bit of everything on top of it, and it still gets really scratched. And additionally, like these corners, when your arm lays across that corner for a long period of time, it just leaves marks and starts digging in, and it's pretty uncomfortable. Wood is a much softer material, and it's also smoother on the edge, so it'll feel nicer to play on. Alright, so I'm going to start taking all of this apart. So my plan for today is to deconstruct all of this. I'm going to separate all the metal and hardware into some kind of organization. And then I'm just going to break down the wood and try and organize it by its size. Ultimately, this is all I want right here. This is going to become my desk. Like I said, I haven't really done a whole lot of woodworking, and I would like to get into it. Well, it's off. It's ready for separation. There it is, our new desktop. Alright, there it is in all its amazingly large glory. So we got a hole going through the middle that can be used for something rather I already got the piece that I want off. Still am deciding on the design I want for all of this, because I have enough wood to the point where I can add maybe little features and things. Right now I'm just gonna try and measure things up and kind of see where this is probably actually going to physically end up in my room and kind of go from there. I have considered the possibility of creating an L-shaped desk. That doesn't really work for my room, but it's still possible. Ultimately, I can kind of do whatever I want. Still, I'm going to refinish that top. One thing I have always been obsessed with is breaking things down. I think by doing so and separating all your hardware and all like materials, you can basically gain a lot of raw materials and hardware and other things. It's basically just recycling old stuff. So if I collect enough of these, you know, I don't have to spend 10 or 5 or whatever on my own set of hardware, and go ahead and, you know, take slices of that for whatever project I'm on. Using a router to cut this edge off. So we took a rasp to this edge and then used this sander. We've just been going along this whole piece, and then we're gonna do a polyurethane coating. There we have it. It is all sanded down. It's much smoother. I think it's a beautiful top. I mean, the only downside is it just has this hole in it, but that's okay. We can either cover it up or find a use for it. We'll call it a happy little accident. I do really like the lightness of this, however. It needs some kind of coating, and it's probably going to make it darker. Alright, so that is freshly polyurethane. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it. I think it looks amazing. I mean, for free. Well, so I spent 10 bucks on sandpaper, and that's all I bought so far. So it is not 100% free. This is what we get paying $0 for the wood. I'm going to let it go ahead and rest. It says sand with 220, and then after that we'll just go ahead and do a second coat. The second coat of polyurethane is currently on, and it is drying. The process is really simple. It just usually comes in a can. You brush it on, do 220 sandpaper to smooth it out, just in case some contaminants or whatever land up or it bubbles. I didn't really have an issue with that, so I just went ahead and added a second coat. Next, I have to wait for it to dry. Now, they want probably, I think, 3 days before you really put it into use in theory, but it takes a full 30 days to cure. I'm worried that if I set an object on there for a long period of time, it could either leave an imprint or get stuck to the polyurethane, and if I ever go to move a monitor or my computer, it will rip up some of that polyurethane, which would be bad. But I am going to be very careful around it for the first 30 days. Probably after 5 days, I'm going to flip it upside down. I'm going to use these little wood inserts that have threads on them, and then find some bolts that are the appropriate length to attach it to that bottom piece on my glass desk. And then hopefully with that, it'll create a solid mounting surface, and then it'll be all good and I can start rearranging my new setup. Stay tuned for part 2, in which we will be doing all of what was just mentioned.